Welcome back to Emotional Support Wrestling with me, your host, Madge, and my co-host, Emmy.
Hi.
Sometimes you need emotional support for your emotional support combat sport, and that's where we've got you covered. Today, we're going to be running down the timeline of the Golden Lovers for you guys and for Emmy, because on Dynamite, July 12th, they finally announced that Kota Ibushi will be coming to AEW. He's going to be the Elite's fifth man for Blood and Guts, and I'm beyond excited. So,
Yeah, baby.
thought we would go ahead and run down the whole timeline of their story so far.
I'm excited for this because I don't know anything. Well, okay. I'm not going to lie to you. I did see a video yesterday kind of running down uh what's what the story was between Kenny and Coda. But I don't know too much and I would love to hear how you tell us about it. So,
Yeah. So I've seen a few different timelines, a few different blogs that have the whole story. I've seen Kenny's his documentary, The Golden Lover Story. Um, I've heard Kenny talk about Coda in interviews. I've heard Coda talk about Kenny in interviews. And I've been trying to follow their story for pretty much as long as I've been a pro wrestling fan. So I've got some information that fills in the gaps that I've got, and I've got information that I just knew already.
amazing. I can't wait to hear it.
All
Woo!
right. So we're going to start from the beginning here. We're going to start from them as young adults, starting to carve their own paths in life. Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi both became professional wrestlers in their respective homes of Canada and Japan. Kenny debuted in the year 2000, while Ibushi debuted in 2004. And in 2008, after watching Kota wrestle in Japan on tape, Kenny was pretty much just captivated by how alike he and Kota were almost kind of meant to be in both philosophy and athleticism with pro wrestling. So Kenny became obsessed with needing to wrestle Kota Ibushi, and he created a YouTube video calling out Ibushi for a pro wrestling match. Um,
Just shooting his shot, huh?
Shooting his shot. That's the most 2008 thing I've ever heard in my life. Is seeing someone wrestle on tape and making a YouTube video about it.
Honestly, yeah. That's crazy. What a man.
So, what a man. So, Kenny has expressed that Japanese wrestling was what drew him in as a teenager to become a pro wrestler, past the more kid-centric things about pro wrestling that he liked when he was like 5 or 6, like The Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan. Um, so, him and Ibushi, they share the same philosophy that wrestling can be anything, and they want to change the wrestling world together. So Kenny got his match with Kota Ibushi, being invited to Japan to fight at DDT Pro Wrestling, Dramatic Dream Team Wrestling, in a 2 out of 3 falls match that actually won Japan's Match of the Year.
Wait, hold on. Dramatic Dream Team is what DDT
Yep,
stands for?
you goddamn right, brother.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Dramatic Dream Team. Okay, so that's kind of like very fitting in a way.
It explains a lot.
Yeah, it really does. Wow. Okay. Cool.
hmm So, starting at that match, Kenny does not shake Kota's hand. So, Kenny at this point, he's playing up a really heel persona going against the babyface of the promotion, Kota Ibushi. So, he is like the cocky heel. He's doing that thing where he like swivels his hips back and forth and all that jazz. If you ever get the chance to watch their match at a wrestling beer garden, 2008,
Mhm.
that's their first match ever. You'll know what I mean. So
I can
Kenny does
already
not
imagine.
shake Kota's hand. That comes up later, I promise. That's poignant. And then Kota would end the match victorious with a Phoenix splash off of a vending machine.
Of
So
course.
of course, the thing about DDT's beer gardens is that you can wrestle in the arena and you can wrestle outside of the arena. So they managed to get outside of the arena and they set up a table spot next to vending machines. And Kota Ibushi hit a successful Phoenix splash off of a vending machine. scoring him the final fall.
Oh, they're
So
crazy.
Kenny has actually said that that was the first time he ever cried after a match because he thought his dream of being able to fight Kota Ibushi was over. His dream of Japan was over, and that was the last chance he would ever get. But luckily for him, because Kota also felt that they had something special fighting each other, um, Kota was able to also talk with DDT. He was also able to voice that he really, really wanted to have Kenny with him. So they both wanted to be in a tag team after being able to speak to each other, kind of.
Hmm.
And they worked on convincing the GM to let it happen.
Wow.
And so, with their wish granted, the wrestling world was changed for the better. So in 2009, they would have their first outing as an official tag team. So this was from an excerpt in Kenny's documentary. So in 2009, a wrestling magazine had taken to calling them the Golden Twins due to how in sync that they were. And Coda had said he corrected them that they weren't twins, they were lovers, hence their name, the Golden Lovers.
So he was like, no, no, no. This is not brotherly love. Nope.
No, it's not friendship, it's not sibling, it's love. Romantic.
Amazing. That's crazy. I love them
Mm,
already. I'm loving this.
they're amazing. They're so good together. So the Golden Lovers would go on to win the DDT KOD tag team belts. That's just kind of KOD is kind of like the IWGP. It's just kind of what they call their titles, what they call their wins.
Okay.
Yeah. So they would wrestle in New Japan as well, and they would be wrestling separately in the Best of Super Juniors tournament, and they would win the IWGP Junior Tag titles against Apollo 55, which was Prince Devitt and Ryusuke Taguchi.
Taguchi.
That match also would go on to win Match of the Year.
Okay. I do know Taguchi's name because I had a friend who was a massive Finn Balor fan who like also watched all of his New Japan stuff and also really, really, really loved Taguchi. So that explains a lot. I didn't know why they liked Taguchi so much, but it's because they were a tag team. Okay, I got you now. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
they were a long-standing tag team.
I'm like learning like all these little nuances to things that I technically knew but like didn't know. Ah, that's great. Okay.
Yeah, it's like the context to having a bunch of facts.
Yeah.
In 2011, the Lovers would be featured in New Japan, both separately and as a tag team. Kota would frequent the junior title scene, while Omega was featured mostly in the Golden Lovers tag team or another tag team. And this is where small cracks in the Golden Lovers would start to form. So basically, there was a long-standing narrative that Kota was all encompassing the Golden Star. He was the golden one of the tag team. He was the one who was getting the title shots. He was moving on without Kenny.
Okay.
So later on, when they would start to pull apart and when they would start to frequent other promotions without each other,
hmm
there would start to be little cracks in the foundation.
Okay. So kind of, so very Kenny and Hangman like, because that's the only context I have where,
Honestly, yeah,
yeah, where Kenny ended up in that tournament. And so, and Hangman also was in the tournament, except he lost to him. And then Kenny became the champ. And Hangman was just like, well, this sucks.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So just being like second place to someone else and being in someone's shadow.
Yeah, a tag partner that you didn't quite measure up to, some would say.
Yeah, some would say. Some cowboy might
Yeah.
say later on in your life. Ooh, that
So,
must hit. Now I understand why that hit so bad. Ooh, okay.
yep.
How?
I
Okay.
remember, so at that point in time, I was fully on the train that Hangman needed to win. Let me tell you, the second he said you also felt like you also had a tag partner that you felt like you didn't quite measure up to, I jumped out of my seat. I was like, you don't get to say that. You don't get to invoke him in this. And then I
Yes,
calm down and I'm like, Naya, it's okay. Or
yes, he
Madge, it's okay.
does. Actually, I would even say that that's like all the more reason for Hangman to have invoked Koda's name. Because if we're taking all of this into context, then one, we know that Koda and Hangman have had one match together, and Hangman lost, correct? He lost to Koda
I believe he did.
in ROH. I can't remember what the pay-per-view was called. Um, but him reminding Kenny that he's not like they are the same in some ways still, that he should be able to kind of listen to what Hangman is saying and understand where Hangman is coming from because he also went through it. Like he's trying to invoke an emotional response and a comparison between him and Kenny. So I feel like that did make sense for him to bring it up, but also
It
kind of,
absolutely did.
kind of, kind of to piss Kenny off a little bit, like, how dare you?
Yeah. It was it's kind of like it's why I calmed down after I thought about it for a little bit because I'm like it makes sense to bring that up.
And
It's
also,
just my little golden lover's heart hurt.
but also it does fit into this whole narrative that they have been telling since the inception of AEW, which is that the Golden Elite will be complete, you know, at whether or not they see eye to eye at some point, they're still going to end up together in the same way that the Golden Lovers ended up together, and in the same way that they will end up together next week in a couple of days at Blood and Guts. Okay. Oh, it's crazy. Okay. Okay, you can
Happiness noises.
continue.
Yes.
Okay, continue.
All right. Okay. So the Golden Lovers would then lose their tag titles back to Apollo 55. Both lovers would compete in the Best of Super Juniors, but Kota would be the one who would go on to win.
Mhm.
And eventually he would win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship off of Prince Devitt, a rematch from their Wrestle Kingdom 5 match.
Okay.
So then Kenny would then go on to tag with Michael Nakazawa, his friend and translator in Japan before Kenny knew Japanese, and won and lost the KOD tag titles with him.
That's how they met?
Yeah. So Nak is kind of like the liaison. He's like the Rocky Romero of DDT. So
Okay.
when Kenny first came into the company, he was his translator. I think he helped Kenny find a place to live while he was there, if he didn't actually just put him up with him and his wife.
Hmm.
So they've been friends for almost as long as I've been alive.
That's amazing. Okay. Aw, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Nakazawa. Love that guy. Okay.
We love Nick on this pod.
Yes.
All right. Kota would then suffer an injury and be forced to vacate the IWGP Junior Weight Championship. Uh, After Kota comes back from recovery, they both have a singles run, amassing titles of their own.
Okay.
And in 2012, Kenny and Kota would be back to face each other again for Kota's KOD openweight title, which was DDT's it's like their highest level of title.
Hmm?
So now, yeah,
Their highest level title? Like, um,
it's like their world championship,
okay.
but it's open weight because anybody can win it.
Gotcha.
Mhm. So now, certified wrestling soulmates, Kenny begins the match shaking Kota's hand. And they go on to have a very, very death-defying match because there's something about putting those two together that means they have to bust out life-ending moves or they're not satisfied.
Right. Which
So
is
Kota comes out of it with the win.
standard for Kenny and standard for Coda.
Absolutely. This was the match where Kenny takes one of his notably worst bumps in wrestling. He takes a Frankensteiner from Ibushi off the top rope in onto the floor.
Okay. I think I know what that is. Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah, it's Jesus Christ, guys.
I think I saw
They're
that actually in that video yesterday.
probably. Their trio of matches, you could sit them both, you could sit all three of them down. They would all be classics in their own right, but they're all connected.
Hmm.
So they're important to the Golden Lovers storyline. In 2013, Kota has since signed with New Japan, seemingly leaving Kenny behind for greater successes, while Kenny continues his singles run in JAPW and DDT with sparing bookings in Japan. New Japan, I should say. But the Golden Lovers have a resurgence in 2014, regaining the KOD tag titles for the final time, losing them for the final time, and wrestling as the Golden Lovers for the final time. By the end of 2014, Ibushi is on a small break, and Kenny Omega becomes the cleaner for Bullet Club.
Okay.
Now we get to the more heartbreaking parts of being a Golden Lovers fan. This is where Kenny is now fully a heel. The cracks in the Golden Lovers have started to shatter the foundation, and they are no longer a tag team. So in 2015, the Lovers, now as a heel and face respectively, crossed their paths in New Japan during Kota Ibushi's IWGP Heavyweight title shot against AJ Styles, the leader of the Bullet Club.
Right. So
And
Kenny,
as Bullet
Kenny,
Club,
yeah, Kenny would be there.
yep, as Bullet Club, it's Kenny's job to cheat for AJ to win. So when Kota is set up to hit the Phoenix Splash, Kenny gets up on the ring apron, seemingly to try and knock Ibushi off, but he freezes. Kenny can't hit him. But the pause that Kenny caused Ibushi at seeing his lover attempt to hurt him is enough for AJ to counter the Phoenix Splash into the Styles Clash and beat Ibushi.
Oh,
Kota was defeated, and Kenny looked heartbroken. So
wow.
this was the last time that they would see each other in the ring for 3 whole years, as Kota left wrestling altogether for a long while.
He was gone?
Yep,
Wow. So when I started watching New Japan in 2018, he had barely been back.
he had probably, depending on when you had started, he had been back for 6 months to a year.
So I started watching during the G1 climax, so summer of 2018.
Yep, so a year.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah, it's a sad ending for them.
Yeah.
And because of them being heel and face, and Japan's emphasis on kayfabe, along with the feelings of jealousy that was on Kenny's part for what Ibushi had accomplished without Kenny,
Hmm.
their real life falling out of sorts and drifting away from each other as they took different career paths.
Mm.
So Kenny would continue on in New Japan and he would make the career that we all know and love. So he would fight the likes of Taguchi, he would fight Nakamura, Tanahashi, Naito, and Kazuchika Okada. From 2016 to 2017, Kenny and Kota would trade passing remarks about the other in interviews and online, Twitter mostly,
Right.
but would carefully never reveal whether their expressions of worrying about the other or wanting to team up were anything other than just words. So they would spend a lot of time on Twitter going back and forth, subtweeting mostly, vaguing otherwise,
Uh,
and they would be on interviews talking about a certain tag partner.
but they would never like directly say who.
Not unless the interviewer asked specifically. If the interviewer never said the names Kenny or Kota, they wouldn't say the name either.
Wow.
Dedicated to the melodrama.
On God.
Just so dedicated. All right. And in 2017, Kota Ibushi would make his official return to New Japan in the G1 Climax. So this was the first summer that Kota Ibushi was back in New Japan and the first summer that he came back to wrestling.
Hmm.
So Kenny would tweet and he would post little promos about Ibushi, but he would never speak to him face to face. This is where that famous, like, him making that Twitter promo about, like, what was it? God, I can see him saying the words, but I can't remember what the words were. But it was just like the most insane, I'm in love with you, but I need to fight you and I'm better than you promo I've ever heard in my life. And it's so 2017 Kenny Omega.
Yeah, full on
God.
just dramatic asshole.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Like the same vibes when he was on his losing streak at the very beginning of AEW and he was going crazy and the Bucks thought that he was going full cleaner. Meanwhile Hangman's also like about to teach himself how to drown his sorrows in liquor, but because Kenny is the one who like just goes absolutely insane bonkers, like leaving voicemails to people and things, like nobody pays attention to what's going on with Hangman. So that kind of crazy
Yeah.
Kenny.
Yes. That was where it all started, frankly. That's where he started doing all of that. Where he's making like where he was at that DDT event and he was in the suit with his hair straightened and he's just talking crazy the whole time. He was doing that, but more subdued because it was about Ibushi.
He straightened his hair.
He straightened his hair one time, yeah. He straightened his hair when he was blonde too, but this was when he had like the black and the gray hair.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, never looked more like a skunk in his life.
Oh my God.
It was
Okay.
like, because it looked like the tail of a skunk because it was flat, but it was still wavy. It w- it wasn't a good look. It was not a good look.
Oh my goodness.
Poor thing. He's so dramatic about the people that he loves.
This is true.
So Kenny would put out another promo, this one specifically for the G1, to fight the man that is in the finals. The man, of course, he wants to fight in the finals is Kota Ibushi. But Ibushi and Omega would both lose that year's G1, prompting Kenny to then put out another promo saying, both of us lost, so we're back to zero again.
So we're both on the same
Because he
page.
refuses to just talk to people.
Mm.
And then post match, where Kenny is eliminated from the G1 and is being carried away backstage by the Bucks, Kota is there waiting for him in the hallway. He reaches out for Kenny, but Kenny pushes him away and he leaves without saying a word.
I've seen that.
Hmm.
I've seen that like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 times. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. The one where the Bucks are super confused about seeing him there.
Yeah.
Because at that point in time, Kota was essentially a ghost from Kenny's past, and they didn't expect to see him back. I don't think Kenny really knew what he was going to do when he actually saw Kota again, but he chose at that point to push him away and stay away from him, probably to protect the fact that he thinks he has a black soul and no heart.
I'm sorry, what?
So the 2017 version of Kenny was kind of a downtrodden and defeated type of man,
Hmm.
mostly because he was losing his matches to Okada. He was gaining titles, of course, but he felt like he wasn't living up to what he wanted to be. He felt like he needed to be better than somebody.
Hmm.
He felt like he needed to put everything that he had and kill himself into every single match just so he could prove that he was better than Kota Ibushi. But I think because he wasn't IWGP Heavyweight Champion, he wasn't there. So he was calling himself like a ghost, like a shell of a person, things like that. Being Kenny Omega dramatic.
Hmm. The buys just be like that.
But you love him.
Yep.
Or I do. Through the rest of 2017, the two would continue to subtweet each other or talk to each other through individual promos slash interviews, but Cody Rhodes would start to play into their story and push them back together.
Cody.
Cody Rhodes. So this is where he starts to play into it and
Which,
what all he does.
which is hilarious to me because the way that you're describing him right now, Coda, Coda, Cody is the homewrecker in
He
my
is.
eyes, in my eyes, but doesn't Hangman, because of everything that he's doing with Cody, call Coda a homewrecker?
Yes. So Cody at this point in time is becoming master manipulator.
Hmm.
And Hangman, who at this point I kind of Um, this kind of goes with what I said. I think it was in episode 4 of the podcast. So Hangman was raised by the elite. At
Hmm.
this point in time, he's kind of like a small child of a wrestler.
Yeah.
So he's very impressionable.
Yes.
To be nice about it, he's impressionable.
He's a little
And
baby.
Cody is good at manipulation.
He's like a little brother to a big brother who loves to be mean.
Yeah, it's like Cody is like a senior in high school, and Hangman is like just starting to like leave middle school and go into high school, so he does literally everything that Cody says,
Yeah, it's adorable.
including think Coda is the one that's ruining Bullet Club when really it's Cody who's ruining Bullet Club.
Yep,
So yeah.
love that.
hmm So at the end of 2017, Cody challenges Ibushi to a Wrestle Kingdom match, snidely going behind Kenny's back and trying to undermine him as the Bullet Club leader in doing so. And Ibushi accepts, but while he beats Cody at Wrestle Kingdom, Cody attacks him from behind after the match, and he attacks him again at New Year's Dash at the beginning of 2018. So Kenny then comes out to save Coda, but pointedly does not interact with him at all. So he gets Cody off of him and then immediately turns his back just to argue with Cody. And
Mm.
there's a great shot of Kenny arguing with Cody and the other Bullet Club members while Ibushi is just lying down to the wayside on the ring apron, hurt and alone.
Mm.
It is it's like a Renaissance painting, kind of, or just like one of those really perfectly placed camera shots
Hmm.
that I'm sure the elite did on purpose because what do they not do on purpose? That's perfect.
Yeah.
And then on BTE episode 87, titled Wrestle Kingdom, the elite are out at dinner, and Kenny and Cody's tension due to Coda boils over. And this is where Kenny says the famous line, and I said specifically to you, Cody, anybody but him. Him, of course, is Kota Ibushi, but Kenny just can't bring himself to say his name, can't bring himself to be direct. All he has to say is anybody but him.
Damn. I wonder how that becomes a parallel into the future.
Boy, I wonder how that one works itself back into the elite in the future.
Yeah. Where he comes out to save someone and then pointedly doesn't interact with him or even say his name when he talks about you know, whatever's going on.
This furthers my little agenda that Hangman and Matt, mostly Matt, because he's the one who's volatile and emotional in the Young Bucks.
Hmm.
Nick is insane, but he's level-headed.
Hmm.
Does that make
It's
sense?
crazy. No, it's crazy that he is the level-headed one, despite how he behaves.
Right? It's it's like it doesn't really make any sense, but if you watch what he does, yes, it does. Like Matt is the one to like be reckless and in somebody's face and shout and scream and all of that. And Nick gets emotional, but he doesn't necessarily blow up. He's like, I kind of accredit it to what he said when they were going into Revolution 2020. Like, Matt was the one who was like talking out of his neck to Hangman first. And then once Nick had something to say, he piped up and cut Hangman at the knees easier than Matt ever could.
Oh yeah, when he was like, "You were just a jobber in Ring of Honor before."
And we brought you into Bullet Club.
Yeah,
Eviscerated.
I was. Oh my God, when he said that, I absolutely fucking died. I have never hated Nick Jackson more in my entire life than when he said that to Hangman. Oh my God. And like,
I remember
it's
I
just
like
been,
dropped my phone.
dude, it's been it's been an uphill battle for Nick Jackson to get back into my good graces, but seemingly easier than it has been for Matt, which is crazy because he said that fucking line. And still
Quiet ones.
I still have more beef with Matt Jackson.
It's Matt's like he's not they're a tag team. They go back and forth with who's the showman of the group.
Hmm.
So, all right, back on track to the Golden Lovers.
Right.
So, January 28th, 2018, Kenny faces a newly healed Jay White for the IWGP US title and he loses. And it's a Bullet Club mess post-match, with Hangman immediately challenging for the title, Kenny getting angry and taking the belt away from him, Cody throwing Kenny's words in his face that it's over, let it go, which is what Kenny said to Cody when he saved Ibushi.
Right.
And the Bucks are trying to calm everything down, and finally Kenny shoves Matt onto his injured back.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's that day.
Oh, that's ooh.
The look of absolute disbelief and hurt on Matt and Nick's faces that moment is like that's the moment where you know Kenny is at his lowest and Cody has just won.
Yeah. And I'm sure baby Hangman is like, this is all Coda's fault.
Absolutely. You know that's exactly what he thinks because that's what Cody probably told him.
Yeah. Because that's what he's
And
seeing.
then
That's what he's seeing. It's what he's
mhm,
hearing. It's what he's hearing from Cody, and then it's the actions that he is seeing in front of that in unfolding in front of his eyes.
mhm,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
So then the Bucks are finally separated from Kenny. Cody acts like he's cool and he lowers Kenny's guard. He acts like he's perfectly fine with everything that just happened. And he's like, I'm sorry, man. And like, it's over. You were right. I'm so sorry. He gets Kenny's guard down and he hits him with the crossroads, effectively doing what Jay White had just done to him over and over again in their match. And for the past month, seeing as they literally have the exact same finisher.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Jay White's finisher and the crossroads are the same thing. Okay. So it
They
wasn't just me.
absolutely are.
Okay, it wasn't just me. Okay.
They're the same damn thing.
Insane.
So then Cody gets Hangman, who is now feeling absolutely humiliated by Kenny because of what he's just done at the end of his match. He gets him to help him set Kenny up and hit him with a chair when Coda comes running in for the save. And then once Cody and Adam have scattered, Coda tries to help Kenny get up. But Kenny, unable to look him in the eyes, refuses his help and uses the ropes to get himself standing. Once he's standing, Coda holds out his hand. Kenny shakes his head and he looks away with it, and he looks away. Coda's hand slowly falls and a single tear falls to the mat.
What?
Hold on, it gets better. Coda turns away and Kenny turns away, also crying, before Coda just takes both of his hands, physically turns Kenny to look at him, looks him in the eyes, hugs him, and they both start crying. This was said in Kenny's documentary. Because of all the years that they spent apart, because of their falling out, and because of coming back together, those were very, very real tears.
Wow. What an anime.
What an anime! It's beautiful. So they, Jesus. Okay. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Getting a little emotional
Might
there.
not be, actually, might not be. I'm gonna try and get through this without crying, but I'm close. So they hold each other tight as they both can. They cry into the other's shoulder, and the golden lovers have returned.
And that's when the confetti comes out, right?
Yep.
I seen that. I gifted.
Yes, you did. It's a beautiful, beautiful GIF. All right. Take a minute to compose myself.
Okay, take your time.
All right. So in the upcoming month, the lovers release their training video together in Japan at Koda's little like house, little training area that has its ring. And not long after, they have their first tag match as the Golden Lovers in 3 years.
Wow.
As Kenny and the Elite are no longer Bullet Club, he focuses his attention to the Golden Lovers, and their run is absolutely beautiful. They face tag teams all over the world, and they have one of the greatest and most emotional tag matches against a couple familiar faces.
Wait,
So
I have a
this is
question.
where,
I have a question.
sorry?
Around what time was this? Like, what's the time frame here in this moment?
So this is like March, April, May.
2018?
So it's between Wrestle Kingdom and between Dominion in 2018.
Okay.
So
And
February is when, yeah,
this is this before or after Kenny fights Chris Jericho?
this is after
Okay.
because he fought Jericho at Wrestle Kingdom.
The beginning of 2018.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Or no.
What?
Yes, beginning of 2018. Sorry.
Okay.
He was feuding with Jericho throughout 2017.
Okay.
All right. So, because of Cody's manipulations, Kenny's mistrust, and Kota Ibushi's return, Matt Jackson starts to hit a limit, and by proxy, so do the Young Bucks.
Of course.
At this point in time, the Young Bucks are junior heavyweights, and Kenny lies to the Bucks, saying that Kenny only considers them the best junior tag team.
Ooh.
Knowing how much the Bucks have fought to be heavyweights and how much they wanted the junior and the heavyweight tag divisions to be put together in New Japan,
Hmm.
it's like a slap in the face to them that Kenny would say that, quote unquote, because he didn't actually say that, but Cody
Cody.
manipulated a lot of Kenny's vlogs. So this is the breaking point for Matt Jackson and, of course, by proxy, the Young Bucks, because they had spent all of this time kind of standing by Kenny. They were seconding him every match he had with Okada. They were at his side diligently. They were with him. They stuck by him when Cody was trying to manipulate and weasel his way into Kenny's position. And finally, Kenny pushes Matt and he goes off to tag with Kota Ibushi. This is where Matt says his line, "Where was he?" Because Kenny put the Bucks through so much shit.
Hmm.
And it's seemingly like Kota comes back and suddenly Kenny is this brand new person. And to the Bucks, Kota is a brand new person.
Right.
So finally, once they move up to being heavyweights, Matt challenges Kenny and Kota for a tag team match. And the match is very brutal. The Golden Lovers win, but it damages Kenny and the Bucks' relationship heavily. And
Wow.
around this time, they had their Kenny versus Cody was scheduled for Ring of Honor. And that was the match where the Young Bucks accidentally super kick Kenny because Cody falls on the mat and Kenny was right behind him.
Wow.
So that, yeah, that further damaged their relationship with each other. And they just kind of altogether stopped talking for a while. I would also recommend watching the Young Bucks versus the Golden Lovers, then watch the Young Bucks versus Kenny and Paige, then watch the Elite versus Hangman and the Dark Order at All Out.
Yeah, I have a feeling that those are all connected. Yeah.
They're very much so all connected. Kenny and the Bucks and Hangman have a way of making kind of like sleeper trilogies and sleeper series out of their matches.
Hmm.
I feel like Hangman learned that from either watching or from teaming with the Elite.
Yeah.
So then we get to Dominion 2018, where Kenny faces Kazuchika Okada in their third match. I put fourth match, but that is incorrect. That's on me. Their fourth match is at the G1. All right. So after many BTE episodes and Ring of Honor matches and Cody manipulations being exposed, the Bucks, in a showing of forgiveness for Kenny and redemption for their relationship, come to the ring to second Kenny towards the middle of the match.
Okay.
Kota was already out there with him, so the Bucks joining was the last thing that Kenny needed to finally defeat Okada, and he became the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, the power of friendship.
It's heart, soul, passion, friendship, and love.
Oh.
It conquers all, baby. It conquers all. And when Kenny is presented with the belt, he pushes it away to hug the Bucks and Coda instead.
Aww. It's like it's
And
kind oh my God. Oh my God. It's kind of like when the Dark Order comes out after Hangman wins, right? With Kenny and he throws away the beer and he hugs them instead. Oh,
you're so right.
oh my God.
I There are so many. Do the elite know exactly what they're doing every single time they do anything at all? The
Or is
answer
it
is probably yes.
or is it just that like a writer who like tells a story, they're just always in the same cycles. And so they always connect things back without meaning to. It's like when I'm writing something and somehow one thing that I wrote over here connects to something that I wrote over here. And it's like, oh my God, these two connect. And it's like, I have to look around and be like, I meant to do that.
It might just be that, honestly,
I
that they're
meant to
just
do
very,
that.
very
It's not because my creativity just sucks and I just keep going back to the same things.
well. If it's good, it's good. If
Look,
it's good, then it works.
yeah. No, it's probably on purpose. It's too many heads. It's too many heads uh connected in the same way of thinking for me to think that it's not on purpose. At the very least, one person will be like, yeah, because of what we did back there. And it's like, oh yeah, that's what we did. Yeah, it works. Continue, you know? Keep putting the pieces
Probably,
together and connecting the dots. Yeah, I think so.
probably.
I
I
think
think
it's on
so, yeah.
purpose. Yeah.
So at this G1 climax, Kenny and Kota finally get to have their meeting in the finals, and they have their third match against each other. And once again, it's death-defying, and it scares me a little watching it back. At one point in time, I think Kota hit a Phoenix splash to Kenny, but Kenny got his knees up, and I'm like, that was seconds away from being disastrous. It's, but it is such a good, and it's another match. It's another thing where you should watch their first and their second match back to back, and then watch the third because it's all connected again.
Right. Of course. As
Yes.
they do.
Yeah. I hope they have a match four almost as much as almost as much as I want them to have another Golden Lovers run. I want them to have another match against each other because
I
Coda won
mhm.
Kota won this match, and Kenny has never had a singles win over Kota ever.
I feel like I feel like if Kenny retires, his last match will be with Coda. But then also
Most
I feel
likely,
like I feel like he wouldn't do that because he would probably want to put someone else younger over, maybe. I don't know. I feel like he would also be thinking of something like that to end his career, but I don't know. I still feel like he would go back to Coda.
I feel like he would, but then it also leaves like who's going to retire first?
Yeah,
Because whoever retires first is probably going to retire the other.
yeah,
So it's like it could be Kota retires and Kenny retires him, or Kenny retires and Kota retires him. It's like it all depends on what life chooses, really.
or they retire each other. They double retire.
It's just a 30-minute draw.
No, I mean like I feel like both of them would retire after that match. That would be both of their last match. And
Oh
one
yeah,
one of them could go over. Like maybe that could be Kenny's one win over Coda is Coda's last match.
possibly.
And also Kenny's last match. I don't know. I feel like that would be poetic.
It would be.
Yeah.
Anything that they could choose to do together would be very poetic.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So then this is September of 2018 at All In. The Golden Elite debut as Coda teams with the Young Bucks, and the Bucks state that it's only the beginning.
Ah. So he has always been part of this. See, I don't like when people are like, oh, it was never directly stated that Coda would show up in AEW. And it's like, motherfucker, he was at the first show. They said it was the be. How are you gonna have Brandon Cutler
Do the all in video,
do that?
go all in.
Do that go all in video. Show Kota Ibushi in the background of a shot of the Bucks from the first All In and be like, oh, they've never stated that Kota's gonna be in AEW. Fuck off.
Yes,
Okay?
they did.
Yes, they did. And I don't give a damn if you're like, oh, but it wasn't direct. It is when it comes to the elite, okay? The elite don't just do this shit just to do it, okay? It's on fucking purpose. I don't want to hear no shit, okay? It's on purpose. If I can see
It's
it,
always on purpose.
if I can see it and everybody else can see it, okay? It was done on purpose. They did it on purpose.
You know what? That's like saying just because Coda and Kenny were both in the G1 doesn't mean they're going to get back together one day. Like, if they're in the same promotion or if they're talking about each other, they're going to come back together one day.
Yeah.
It's like, it may not be outright stated, but it's direct. It's entirely direct because it's on purpose.
Yeah. The thing about the elite is we always make jokes talking about how, oh, they suck at communicating, like in kayfabe or whatever. Them not explicitly saying something doesn't mean they're not saying it.
Yes.
And that's how it works in kayfabe when they're doing things too. Like when they're not actually communicating and you're like, what the fuck? Why aren't you communicating with each other? Why the fuck do you guys always have
It's
to
like
like
it's
play?
all in the it's all in what is unsaid.
Exactly. Just because Matt Jackson doesn't tell Hangman that he loves him doesn't mean he doesn't love him. He fucking loves him, okay?
Just because he didn't outright say I love you doesn't mean he didn't nod at him, right?
Yeah,
Like
that was love, baby. Okay. And I fucking hate Hangman.
doesn't mean it's not there.
Just because I hate it doesn't mean it's not there, okay? I know it's there. Okay, I concede. Okay.
I may hate it, but I'm not a liar.
I might be a hater, but I have eyes. I have fucking eyes. I can see, okay? You can't hate something that's not there. Well,
Exactly.
you can. Some
Well,
people can. Some people can hate things that
if
aren't
you're
there.
delusional enough.
But I'm real, okay? I hate things that are there.
I hate the correct way. I hate things that are real.
Sorry, I'm a delusional Adam squared girly, okay? Sorry.
Hey man, Adam squared is good.
I know I want them so bad, but now Max is in the way. Max won't
They're
take
doing really
it.
well, actually.
Huh?
I didn't think Max and Adam would do as well as they were doing, but they are.
They are. And remember what I said about how the reason that I thought the Jericho feud and the uh Cole feud like together wasn't working for me was because one guy was acting his ass off and the other one was phoning it in and they
They're
weren't
both
they
acting their
weren't
ass off.
they weren't on the same page though of what genre of story they were telling. Adam
Hmm.
was over there telling like just just drama, just pure drama. Meanwhile, Jericho's like comedy. It was full
Hmm.
comedy. Whereas here, Cole and Max are on the same page. This is a buddy cop drama if we have ever seen one. Okay. And there's going to be a big betrayal at the end. They all know this. They are on the same page about it, which is why it works because they're on the same page. And they said so. And when they said that, I was like, which page? Hangman? But anyway, point
Why
being,
are you, as a man, on page?
okay,
That was funny.
we need to get back on track.
We do. But while the Bucks had said that it was only the beginning, this starts the beginning of the end because this is when AEW starts to form.
Right?
So Kota is gaining a really good push in New Japan, and Kenny and the Bucks have decided against staying in New Japan or going to WWE, instead partnering with Tony Khan to create All Elite Wrestling. Kenny loses his IWGP Heavyweight title to Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom 13 because of his departure from New Japan to the newly announced AEW. So Kenny ends up leaving, Kota ends up staying, and the Golden Lovers are once again no more. And at Starcast to promote, I believe this was promoting All Out or Double or Nothing in
Mhm.
2019, he is asked about why Kota didn't come with him to AEW. Kenny is pretty much only able to say, I couldn't ask him when it was his time, before choking up with tears at the thought. What he means when he says it was his time is that he knew Kota was going for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and that he would eventually get it. And he didn't want to take him away from that when he knew that it was what Kota was wanting.
Right. So
But
is this the first time that Coda wins that IWGP title?
he wins it in 2020. And then I believe he won it. No, he didn't win in 2020. He won in 2021. But then it was taken from him by Will Ospreay.
Mm, that fucking bastard.
Yeah, so yeah, that was the whole Osprey versus Omega. That was part of the story there as well.
That's why?
Yes, that's what Osprey meant when he said, "I'm sorry about your boy."
Oh. Ooh, that's dumb. I see it now. I see it now.
Hmm.
Mm.
But I also wanted to say he wasn't talking about Kota getting injured. He was talking about taking away the title because Kota got injured at the G1 in 2021 against Okada in a match. However, it was not Okada's fault. Kota landed the wrong way and he dislocated his shoulder very badly. Yeah. I was in Italy when that happened, actually. That was
Wow.
like awful to watch.
Oh no. I wasn't watching New Japan at the time. It's way too much
Yeah.
for me to keep up with.
Yeah. It's difficult when they don't have something that's weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll often watch I'll watch like Wrestle Kingdom, maybe Dominion. Um I could never watch the G1 in its entirety. It would overstimulate me to hell and back.
Yeah, I tried to watch every night in 2018 and I just couldn't. It was very
Difficulty.
overstimulating. Yeah. I think I would get to the final match every day and I'd fall asleep during the match.
Yeah. I remember I remember Wrestle Kingdom 2022. I remember I was like, I'm gonna stay up until 5 a.m. and watch this entire show back to back. I would fall asleep somewhere in the middle and then wake up for like the semifinal and the final match. And that was when Wrestle Kingdom was 2 nights. So who knows how long the pay-per-view would have gone if it was only one.
Whichever Wrestle Kingdom was the one where Kenny fought Jericho, I fell asleep before the match. I think I watched the very beginning of that match and then woke up at the end and I was like, "What happened?"
Wait, hold on.
Yeah. And I think the same thing happened when I watched Triple Mania the year that Kenny was there uh as AEW as the belt collector pretty much with all the titles and stuff. I fell asleep during his match too, the full way. That's why Kenny can't go last. If Kenny goes last, I don't pay attention. I fall asleep.
I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm tired.
Yeah. Can't deal with this shit no more.
Yeah. So yeah, Kenny would then go on to have his legendary belt collector run in AEW. Kota would win the G1 tournament twice and become IWGP Heavyweight Champion. He would unify the IWGP Heavyweight and the Intercontinental Championship to become the first champion before injury would end both of their runs.
Hmm.
And in October of 2022, the two would finally unite in Japan with Michael Nakazawa, like old times in DDT.
Aww.
And after Kenny's return match to New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom 17, Kota would tweet that he needed Kenny to wait for him to heal from his injury, and Kenny would tweet back that he would wait forever.
Shut the fuck up, dude. I'm dead.
Hmm.
They're so cute. They're so
And after all these years, in 2023, Kenny drops his hints that a friend of his is willing to come to AEW to help him against the BCC, and we get that little vignette that he's coming.
He's coming, baby.
I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying not to cry. I'm gonna be real.
And anybody who's like, oh, they didn't hint that it was Kota Ibushi. Motherfuckers, then why did they just say he's coming first? Why was that the first thing they showed? Because you knew who he was. The he, okay, was implied. Or else they would have just done the video package first. You know, all Kota's whole graphics, music video, whatever video package thing that he did, that he showed us when he became a free agent in like March or whatever. Okay, they would have just shown that, you know. But no, they had to be fucking annoying and say he's coming first. Okay, that's the first thing they said. And everybody in that crowd cheered at that point. Why? Because they knew who it was. I cheered. I knew who it was.
There's
I
only
popped.
ever one he. When
There's
it
only
comes to Kenny Omega, there's only ever one he.
yeah. And oh my god, the way that he was like, just look at the screen, you bitch. I fucking died. He's like, my boyfriend's coming to kill you.
I finally got him, and he's coming back. He's finally
Coda's
here.
gonna kill you. Coda's gonna kill you.
You know what? You know what I hope happens at Blood and Guts?
What?
I hope this is probably not going to happen, but at Blood and Guts, it would be a great thing to do. Literally, I'm choosing Wheeler Yuta because of his tweet. I'm choosing Wheeler Yuta for this to happen to.
I'll
I
be
hope
Coda
Kota drops the knee pad and just hits somebody square in the forehead with a Kamigoye. Square in the forehead.
See,
He's not gonna do that, but it'd be nice if you did. It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
yeah, it would be. Sure would be.
I'm never gonna get that dream, but that would be fun. Like if he didn't do that at GCW, he's not gonna do that here.
God, please. I love the band list coming out right before Kota Bushi's first match.
They said we gotta lock this down immediately. They said we gotta get everything squared away before this man is here.
Tony was probably like, if the Golden Star gets injured in his first match back, because he's in a
It's
match
all of your
with
asses.
Pac, with John Moxley, with Claudio Castagnoli, I'm gonna kill all of you.
He said you're all fired if
You're
this man
all
gets injured. I
fucking
swear to God.
fired. If you injure the Golden Star in his first match in AEW, I'm gonna fucking fire all of you.
Do you think, oh my God,
And Kenny's just
the
in the
list
back.
didn't say anything about fireworks?
Kenny's in the back. Like I can just imagine him leaning on a door like that ain't gonna stop Coda though. And
He's like looking at his nails. He's
Tony's
like,
like Tony's like, it better fucking stop him. Kenny's like, nope, it ain't gonna stop him.
it's not going to.
Nope.
There should be a fireworks spot. There probably can't be, but there should be.
There was already a fireworks shoe spot at Anarchy in the Arena, so who knows? Oh my
Maybe.
god. Really?
How long has the announcement for like what stadium they were going to be in for Blood and Guts been around? Because it took Matt a little while to get the license to do a fire stunt in Las Vegas, and they knew they were going to be in Las Vegas.
3 weeks, I think. I think it's been 3 weeks or 2. It hasn't been very long because I didn't even realize they were going to be in Boston until 2 weeks ago. I want to say, I want to say they didn't talk about where Blood and Guts was going to be until a few days before Forbidden Door. So very end of June.
So that's been about like a month.
No,
That might be long enough to get a fire license.
it's been like 3 weeks.
Is that only 3 weeks? Yeah, that's right, because it's not the end of it's not the end of July yet. I don't understand time.
Me either. It's fine. Oh,
Yeah.
but it's gonna be hectic. Hopefully, hopefully we won't be able to see the difference in what we think a match with all these men could be versus what it is because of a bunch of banned stuff. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing, by the way. No, I'm totally for them banning certain things, like interacting with the crowd, throwing shit in people's faces. Maxwell
We
cop
all knew.
off.
We all
This is
knew who
all his
ruined that
fucking
one.
fault. It is all Maxwell, Daniel Bryan, and John Moxley's fault. I want everyone to know this. It is all their faults. Those three,
They are like
and
they're
maybe Hangman.
this.
Maybe Hangman's fault for drinking stuff, for drinking beer from people, like from people's, you
Let
know,
me say, it took them long enough. He did
honestly,
that 4 years ago.
he did that during the pandemic.
It was right before the pandemic.
He
But
also did it after the pandemic once he got vaccinated. I know he did. He got his boosters and
wasn't that
he was like, oh, and he just drank it. I know this. Okay.
but that was
Fucking do it.
that wasn't when they had like fans in the crowd. That was when they had like cast and crew, right?
No, no, it was a fan.
What
April
year?
15th, April 15th, 2022. Texas death match with Adam Cole. This motherfucker just grabbed a beer
Oh
from
yeah.
somebody. Remember he drizzled it all over his chest? Y'all, you remember that?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
got the
and he
image.
was in the
Yeah, I
crowd. He was
remember.
in the crowd, and it was a shitty shot because it was the hard cam, and the hard cam was zoomed all the way across the across the across the way. Okay,
The arena.
and yeah, across the arena. Sorry, the Georgia slipped out. I'm sorry, I can't. Across the
Across the
way,
way.
fucking over yonder over there. Okay, uh, and so the it was very very gritty resolution. Okay, and it looked like it was very foggy. It was because it was from the hard cam, and they had zoomed in all the way to him, to a close up shot of him, and he was just drinking that bitch and drizzling all over his chest. Okay,
He was hardly any of it was getting in his mouth.
okay, that
It was
man.
a stone cold drink. I'm like, what? Are you doing this on purpose?
Okay,
Like,
maybe he didn't then, but still,
no, he
he's
did
still.
drink some of it, but I'm like, what I'm saying is like he drank it like stone cold, like he wanted it to be all over him
Yeah,
for some reason.
yeah.
Slut.
He knows. He knows what the girls want. Okay, and the
He
gay.
do.
He knows what the gays and girls want. Um, but yeah, no, that was during the pandemic. Nobody can say 2022 wasn't the pandemic. That's still pandemic times. I don't want to hear no shit. We're still in pandemic times. But yeah.
What the Oh, that's right. I was trying to like remember what I was doing during 2022, but I wasn't on the correct medication. So I was like disassociated from like October of 2021 to like May 2022. All of
So,
that in between, hazy.
so
I don't
all of
remember.
Hangman's reign, his
Yeah, kind of.
title reign. You were
That was the only thing I
dissociating.
was even relatively tuned into. That was the only thing I can even have memories about. Everything else was a blur.
You're killing me.
And then I tune back in and he loses. I shouldn't have taken the meds. It's my
You,
fault. Shouldn't
you
have taken the
you
meds.
should have stayed out.
I should have stayed out. It's like me choosing the wrong t-shirt to wear at Forbidden
I was
Door.
literally
I should have
thinking
stayed
that. I
out.
was like, oh, that's more things that are your fault, Madge.
You know what happened as well? I was going through my drawer because I keep most of the wrestling t-shirts that I alter into being like halter tops or crop tops or like a dress. I keep them in a drawer instead of on my hanger.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was rooting through my drawer, I literally passed my Kenny t-shirt and I just thought, nah. Like it was right there. And I just went, I'll do Hangman today.
Fucked up.
I did. That's on me. It's all on me.
Well,
Did you have any games that you wanted to play?
games?
Hmm.
No. Okay, so my part of the show today was that I was supposed to watch ROH and
Oh,
tell everybody what was going on with the Dark Order and the Righteous. But the thing is that I've had a very busy week and I will be leaving the country very soon. So I've been dealing with a whole lot of different things and also just been working a lot. So when I come home, I wasn't really planning on doing homework for the pod. I was planning on just putting on some Watcher YouTube channel and watching Shane and Ryan hunt ghosts. So, um, yeah, I didn't do my homework, guys. Sorry.
it'd be like that sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah, I'll do it for the next one. I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna do the next one after you get back in the country, right?
Yes, after I come back, because I will not have any gear or anything in which to um do this pod over there. So I won't even have my computer. So because I have a desktop, I don't have a laptop. Um so I can't even make GIFs. Oh my God. I swear, if Hangman and the Bucks and Kenny and Coda wear fucking pink gear on July 19th while I'm on the plane going to a different country and I cannot GIF it immediately, I'm going to be simultaneously ecstatic and pissed.
I know. You were like the number one champion for for Hangman to get pink gear and then for them to do a Barbie tie-in.
Yeah, like I've been saying cross promotion for 2 months now, and everybody just started saying it in the past week. And I'm just like, yeah, because I'm an influencer. That was me, baby. That was all me. Okay.
Real. Real
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna be vibrating on the plane. They might have to stop. They're gonna be like, I
They
don't
have
know
to
where all
ground
this
the plane in the water.
have to ground the plane in the water. We don't know where all this turbulence came from. It's like coming from inside the main cabin.
The call is coming from inside the plane.
Oh my God.
Um, did I ever tell you about that time? So this was literally when we were like moving. Or no, this was when we were on the way to moving. We were scouting places to move to.
Mm.
So like my family and I, we got on a plane in 2019. I think it was like the week or so before Survivor Series, or it was right after Crown Jewel. And like I was on like my I was using my data and I was watching SmackDown while we were on the plane. And literally, as we're about to take off, it's that segment between Hunter and Sean and Daniel Bryan. Uh, and the second Adam Cole walks into frame, we take off and my data stops. And like at this point in time, I don't have money to get Wi-Fi on the plane. So I'm just like stuck waiting. I'm like, no, are you serious? Like so I had to wait until we were grounded to watch it on YouTube.
That was probably one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen, not gonna lie to you.
That was a fire Survivor Series.
Oh wait,
That
we're
went
talking about
hard.
Survivor Series. This is Adam. Oh, Adam Cole. Sorry, I disassociated when you were speaking, and I thought you were talking about All Out 2021.
Oh, no, I was in theaters for that one. I was seated.
Oh, okay.
No,
My
I
brain was
didn't miss that
thinking,
one for the world.
okay, so this was the one where it was the NXT brand versus Raw versus SmackDown.
Yeah. So it was like the SmackDown episode right after Crown Jewel where they brought in NXT
Uh-huh.
because SmackDown people had gotten stuck in Saudi Arabia.
Right. I loved that show. Oh my God, it was
That
so
episode
good.
went so hard for no reason.
Adam, I made gifts of Adam Cole because he was such a cocky little shit that day. Oh, it was so good.
He was so Hunter and Sean's son back in that day.
Literally,
He was
literally.
so their kid.
And you could tell that they were saying that too, like indirectly saying it because there's a scene backstage where Sean is with Cole and he's just basically like showing him around to everybody like this is my son,
Everyone look at the trophy.
like
Everyone look at the prodigal son.
like Will Smith meme,
Yeah,
like
that's exactly what was happening.
literally what he was doing. And it was great. I loved it.
Some days I really miss Adam in NXT, but then I remember what NXT is like now, and I'm like, thank God you got out.
Thank God. Honestly. Thank God Kyle got out
Yeah,
too.
me too.
I miss him.
I miss Kyle dearly, but I hope he's recovering okay.
Yeah. I do need him back though because I would love to hear his thoughts on the uh Max Adam Roddy love triangle that we have going on here.
He would have me on the fucking floor laughing with what he would have to say. Because Kyle O'Reilly is so funny,
And he
but
doesn't
he
give
can also be quite serious.
yeah.
Mixing the two, kind of like it's like this whole storyline is a mixture between funny and serious. Adding Kyle O'Reilly to the mix would be perfect.
Hmm. Yes. Honestly. Um, I'm kind of glad Bobby Fish isn't here right now because I feel like he would upset the balance of what's going on here.
I agree.
There'd be
He
way too
wouldn't
much
fit.
crazy. There'd be way too much crazy. Max is enough crazy already, like,
He is.
and he took over as man who needs to scream in front of camera
He did. I'm
because
glad he did.
Bobby Fish is not around anymore. Oops. He took his spot. It's fine.
He's out.
Well,
Yeah.
so no games. Emiliana didn't do her homework. We're just gonna have to do all the things that Emiliana was asked to do next time because
Yes.
I'm running short on time and I'm very busy. I have a life now.
Yes. You got a lot to do.
Yeah.
I'm working on that being me. But right now I have absolutely nothing to do. But hopefully I'll get a job soon and that will change.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, so until next time, where can they find us, Madge?
You can find us on Twitter at ES Wrestling Pod. Uh, yeah, just at ES Wrestling Pod. And you can find us on email at eswrestlingpod@gmail.com if you want to send us an email to scream at us, yell at us, encourage us, anything that you would like. And you can find us on Tumblr at Emotional Support Wrestling.
Yeah. So follow, like, share, you know, whatever,
Be sure to like and subscribe.
whatever the YouTubers tell you to do, just do that.
Whatever their spiel is.
Yeah. Until next time, I guess.
All right, until next time. Bye.
Bye.